Hello, and welcome to this episode of Demystified, as we explore home cooking in a modern world. Hello, I'm Linda and I'm here with my friend Paul. How are you going, Paul?
Did you forget who you were?
No,
Hello,
I wasn't sure it was recording. It's all a bit new on this new MacBook that I have. How are you?
I'm alright. You?
Very well. Very well for a Friday.
Friday. It's Friday
Happy
fun
Friday,
one.
yes. And so today you had some beautiful hamon, which I had
Come on.
a couple of pieces of, which was amazing.
Yes.
And then I asked you what you were doing and you said it's a secret.
No, I didn't say it was a secret. I was midway through deciding what I was doing, so I couldn't actually tell you.
Oh, so what did you do?
No, so I did a little tutorial sort of thingo, which I haven't really looked at yet, so I haven't looked at the recording yet, so I don't know if I'm satisfied with it, and I might do it again. But it didn't take that long. On using functions on your oven, like delayed start, and what you can use those functions for, and an example of that. Now, I know your oven in particular doesn't have it, but a lot of ovens these days do have these other functions which people get sold on, but then never use. So why not explore what you can do with them, with the capabilities that you have when you're using a steam oven?
Okay.
So that's what I was doing.
I've never used that. Even if I had it, I've got it on the washing machine.
So there
never
you go.
used it.
Yeah. So in what scenario would you use it, and what are some examples that you could use it for? So the example that I did was putting some eggs in your oven overnight, not having the oven turn on. So you basically set the oven to come on at a particular time in the morning. So if you want to have your eggs in this scenario, if you get up early and you want to have your breakfast at 7:30, and doing an egg nice and slowly and gently takes an hour, you could have the oven come on automatically at 6:30, and then when you get up at 7:30, just throw your toast on, crack your eggs onto your toast, and you're away.
Wow.
Also, like another example is like yogurt. Okay, so we've done a yogurt recipe a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yogurt's a 5-hour cook, generally 5 to 6 hours.
Okay.
At a low steam temperature, and it needs consistent temperature over that period of time for the yogurt to thicken properly, basically, and to cook. But if you did a mix at, let's say it was a 6-hour cook, if you wanted to do your mix and then run through and do it overnight, which I think is preferable, like, because why? Why do you have to be around for something like that? So you would need to finish making your mix at midnight and then get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to put it in the fridge, right? Whereas what you could actually do is make your mix at about 8 o'clock at night after you've had your dinner or whatever. And because of yogurt mix and what it is and the way it works, it can just sit there in the oven. So there's not many things that can sit in the oven just without the oven on.
No.
Yeah. So eggs are one, yogurt's another. So you could have the yogurt mixture sitting in its jar or its container or whatever you're doing, and then have it come on at midnight, at 1 o'clock in the morning. It will go through its cooking process, and the best part of that is as soon as it's finished cooking, you remove it and place it in the fridge. So it's not sitting there and then cooling down in the oven, rather than having it try and cool down in the oven, which is where the possibility of it overcooking and curdling and doing all that weird stuff could happen. You have it sitting in there when it's in its raw state, for want of a better term. It's not moving, it's not doing anything, it's not cooking, it's not cooling down because it's kind of at room temperature. And then you cook it while you're asleep and wake up in the morning and put it in your fridge. So I thought that was something worth exploring and just doing a little video on.
What sort of reservoir would you need to have it run for 5 hours and not have to get up and fill it up?
It very much depends on the temperature.
Okay.
So the higher the temperature that you cook at, the more water.
Yeah.
And remember, not all steam ovens are got a reservoir. Some of them are plumbed.
Yep.
Where you don't have to worry about it ever.
Yep.
So Gaggenau is a good example. Miele do some So, but generally at the temperatures that we're talking about for the examples that I'm using, eggs, yogurt, you're talking, generally sub 70 degrees, in the 60s, and sometimes even lower. So that period of time, there's no way you'll go through a litre of water. Most reservoirs will hold somewhere around the 800 to 1.2, 1.3 litres of water. So as long as it's full, that's one thing you do have to check. But it's essentially, rather than your regular cooking where you set time, temperature, go, you set end time according to the clock on your oven. So when you want it finished, you set the temperature and then you set go.
Okay. So if eggs and yogurt are two good examples
Don't
of
ask me
that,
for more, I haven't thought of any just yet.
Well, you had hamon.
Yes. So that was a dish to show with the eggs.
Oh, okay.
So I was just showing an
cool.
example. And hamon was part of that dish because I saw it at the market and it looked pretty good, and I went, ooh, I haven't had that in a while. So
It was very good.
Yeah.
Very fresh. Nice.
yeah, so
Very-
hamon really had nothing to do with it
Oh,
at all,
damn.
other than it was just a bit of a garnish for the example
Okay,
dish
I
that I
get
was
you.
using to show a delayed start.
Okay.
So there, yeah, nothing super exciting, but I just kind of thought, we play around with a lot of these now digital interfaces. And there's a lot of functionality in there that people maybe don't explore, maybe don't use, because what examples are there to use it, and what are good examples to use it? So delay start is one that I have been previously asked about. You kind of, you're not going to put a chicken in there in the morning and then have it come on at 4:30 before you get home from work. It's not practical, right?
No.
Probably not safe.
No.
Which is why I think one day someone who invents an oven that can refrigerate as well, like you could have your chicken in there set up so it'd be in a chilled, refrigerated state, and then at a certain point
Gets
it
to
kicks
room
over,
temp.
it kicks into room temp, and then that would start the cooking cycle, but you'd slowly bring it up to room temp, and then it does your cook.
Well, probably would be easier to get an oven that can do that than to try and all the technology to go and get water into a hot box and get it out again cleanly, because it's...
Yeah, well, that's another topic that was previously been discussed today. But I mean, that's one of the fundamental things about a steam oven is they get wet.
They get wet, and there's no getting around that they get wet.
Yeah, I mean, some manufacturers
okay.
have got drain holes in the bottom of their ovens, and different people manage it differently. But a steam oven regardless of which type you have, they will have some water in them at some stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't find it a big problem wiping it out anyway, because it's just cleans the oven.
The technology is much better now than what it previously was when they used to get really wet, like really, really soaked.
Ours gets wet,
Yeah,
but ours is 8 years old or something now. So, and it's done.
Time for an upgrade.
It's done really well. Our little Bosch has done remarkably well for those 8 years.
It's had a fair
crack.
Yeah,
It's
probably worked harder than most home.
And it's done, and
steam
it's
ovens.
still going.
Yeah, it's had a few service issues along the road.
But, it still has been a little champion.
Yeah.
But it does get wet, even though
but you can see
cabinet
now
gets
with
wet.
some of the ones we've got floating around
Very
in here,
different. Very
the
different.
technology has moved forward dramatically.
Yeah.
And you can get much more functionality. And I mean, there's a couple of manufacturers have got step or stage cooking where you can program the oven to change functionality by itself. So you could start with a proof for a bread.
Okay.
And then it could automatically switch over to a combi cycle, and then it could switch over to a who knows what. Like, so there's different functionalities within the oven, which, given the way technology is going, why not explore what you can do with them? And I reckon that's part of our job as Cooking with Steam, is to consider these things, not just provide recipes, but consider those sorts of things and maybe give some people some examples of how you can use them.
No, I agree. And
Being brand agnostic at the same time. So we can't cover every single brand, but we certainly it's a commonality amongst a lot of the manufacturers these days is things like a delayed start. What's it good for? Sabbath mode is something that's everyone's doing now. Whereas previously it was very few manufacturers that would have a Sabbath mode on their oven.
Oh, okay. Look, it makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It makes sense to get these sort of features on and help your market. Makes it
so that's what today was.
Use.
Today was about amongst my regular work. But yeah, we'll do some. Had a bit of a hunt around the market looking for a bit of inspiration. We're kind of funny we're into spring, but it doesn't feel like spring yet.
Like it, not today.
And the market doesn't look like it yet.
No.
It's funny. It's when you switch seasons in a market, you notice, you see what is coming differently. The prices of things change. The seafood that comes in gets a little bit different. Beef and pork and lamb and all that sort of stuff is kind of very similar. I mean, the quality of the lamb gets better in spring. It's obvious, but there's certain indicators which tell you the season has properly changed. Although the calendar has told us we're in spring, the weather outside is telling us something different, and the produce is telling me that we're not there yet. It's funny. Like, so there's some beautiful asparagus around, but it's still not
there.
Yeah. So I'm just kind of hunting for a bit of inspiration for a couple of recipes coming up, but I'm not sure yet. So yeah, that was my little wander around the market, and that was. And it also feels
weird. It also feels a bit weird with everything still in lockdown. When you sort of go across to the market, it hasn't got that same vibe either.
It's the vibe of the thing, Linda.
It's the
Dennis Denudo.
Well, we are in. Oh, nearly. We were in Dennis Denudo territory.
That's a movie reference for anyone who's from a great Australian movie called The Castle. It's just the vibe of the thing. It's funny. So I'm not feeling, and I love spring as a season to cook. Everything's just really good, but I just don't feel like we're there yet. So.
And cooking plans for the weekend?
I've got a fridge full of stuff. I don't know what I'm going to do. As I said, my new place has got a gas oven, so a lot of the barbecue's going to get a lot of work. Because I'd rather be using the barbecue for gas than a crappy gas oven. And I'm still trying to figure out what to do with that. But what have I got there? We had Spanish mackerel last night. Slimy mackerel. Because that looked good.
Okay.
So that was good. What else have I got? I've got some flathead there. Found a nice piece of rump steak, which I'll do something with. I haven't got any particular plans. It's just really because we've just moved, so it's just loading the fridge up, make it up when I get home. I don't plan like you do, sort of for a big day's worth of cooking because Dougie demands it.
Well, he's also, I've got a message before. What goes into your Thai red curry? What do I need apart from chicken?
Oh, Jesus, there's an
Okay, well, here's the list. So that's what we're having tomorrow night.
You got the Portuguese pool boy out doing the shopping. Yeah, but that's all right.
Oh, well, he loves it, and it's always good for a couple of meals.
Yeah, so I haven't got any solid plans. I need to do a bit of rescue work on my sourdough starter because that had a bit of a accident during the move. But I think I'll be able to get it back.
Well, a friend of mine had a disaster. She had her daughter come around a little while ago and clean out her fridge.
I know, and washed out the
and
container.
Said, what is that disgusting smelly thing at the back of the fridge there? And when Nada went to make some sourdough, where's my culture?
Yeah.
And her daughter said, Mum, you couldn't possibly cook with that disgusting smelliness. I threw it all away. And she'd had it for years and years and years. And
that's upsetting.
It was a moment. Yes, it was a moment when Nada thought, wow.
Yeah. And it's just time. That's all it is. But they do develop a better flavour over time. I'm convinced about that. Mine's now... I can't remember the last time I was in Berlin. It's got to be over 2.5
It's
years
gotta
ago.
be at least, over 2.
Yeah. So that's when I lost my sourdough culture because I packed it stupidly and they pulled it out of my bag and threw it away. And I didn't leave any.
Trust me.
I didn't leave any here.
Yeah. It's really sourdough culture.
Yeah,
yes.
I didn't leave any here, which was just totally stupid.
It's not like you.
Uh,
what were you thinking?
So mine's now 2.5 years old, and it's better now than what it was a year ago.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, yeah, a bit of misfortune. Some Parmesan cheese fell into it. Basically, the lid fell off, and some grated Parmesan cheese that I had in there fell into it. So I think I've scraped all that off the top, and I'll be able to rescue it.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But it needs a bit of TLC, so I'll do that. But yeah, no real plans, to be honest.
Well, happy unpacking.
Yes, unpacking and putting together furniture and flat packs and all that sort of stuff.
Thank you,
Fun
Mr.
times.
IKEA.
No, well, we haven't been able to get to IKEA.
Oh,
this
of
has been
course.
out of the boundary
I know,
of...
this is a weird year, isn't it?
And IKEA, like,
weird.
if you want a $5 item, it's $24 delivery and you can get it next year. So, as much as IKEA is handy, when it's open, IKEA is good.
I thought we were promising not to talk about Australia Post and their delivery at the moment.
No, that's IKEA.
I know, but Australia Post, really...
Yeah.
Seriously.
There's some very funny guys on TikTok talking about that, actually, and Instagram.
Dear, oh dear. I feel for them, but man...
I feel for the workers.
I feel for the workers, but really...
The CEO's handing out cardio watches and stuff like that.
Not anymore. She got the boot.
Yeah, I know. Well...
Fancy that.
Yeah.
All the other things that go on in Parliament, and that's what they got outraged over.
Yeah.
Seriously? Better look at ourselves a bit here. But anyway.
Getting off topic, Linda.
Yeah, I know. Sorry about that.
Right.
Well, happy cooking.
Happy cooking, everyone.
And we'll catch
see you
up
next week.
Take care. Bye.
Ta-ta now.
Thanks for listening to this podcast as we explore home cooking in the modern world. We'd love you to subscribe, and for more information, please go to our website, cookingwithsteam.com.